Hey, everybody. So, I don't know if you remember Thank God for Jury Duty, but we're still here, and I'm Sarah Pip Rose, and today I am here with Rudy Mulamba. Yay, Rudy Mulamba.
Hey, Sarah.
I should say comedian Rudy Mulamba. So, how's it going, and what have you been up to lately?
Hey, Sarah. Things are good. You know what I mean? Cooped up in the house, cabin fever, the whole thing. Yeah. I mean, as of late, I've just been, yeah, man, just stuck at the house. Randomly showing my face on like Zoom comedy shows and stuff, and bombing horrifically, and yeah, doing a little bit of podcasting. How about you?
I'm just doing this, trying to do some Zooms and stuff. Well, why don't, this is about you, though. So,
Yeah,
why
yeah,
don't you
true.
tell everyone about your podcast?
Yeah, so I'm doing a podcast. It's called The Great Music Show. Um, Basically, it's every episode is dedicated to an album, a music album. Um, we've only done like music. We haven't done like comedy albums. I think we might do that too. But um, we pretty much just come on. It's me. There's a different guest every episode. Usually like it's usually an album that me and the guest both enjoy, and we break it down. We do a review of it up top, play some clips, and then we have kind of like some bigger discussion about the album, like how, its impact, you know what I mean? Like what themes go through it and all that. So, yeah, it's pretty fun. I like it, And I guess my main philosophy with that was let me do a podcast I would listen to, right? So I think that's good and bad. One, it's good because yeah, if someone has your sensibilities, they can really sit down and enjoy it. But also, it turns into a thing that's very like self. I don't know. It's like sometimes you feel like you're doing it for yourself and no one else. Because I'm sure there's some albums out there that I would listen to every day that most people wouldn't. So, but yeah, that's the main thing with that. It was partially inspired by. I've done a podcast. Actually, I'm going to shout him out. A buddy of mine in Virginia. His name's Justin Wilson, who does a show called The Program, Deprogrammed, and basically that podcast is like every episode is a different artist, musical artist, either a band or like a rapper or like a whatever singer, whatever. And what you do is, he brings in a couple people, like a panel of guests, and you do like a top 10 of that artist's best songs into discussion and everything. It's very interesting. So for me, I was like, yeah, that's fun. Instead of doing that, do albums. It's kind of similar. And yeah, I guess people talking. There you go.
That's cool. And you said you were recording one tomorrow. So, what are you recording tomorrow?
Yeah, Saturdays are my record days. So like, I get the guests together and I try to get the source material together and everything. So tomorrow I'm doing three just to I'm trying to get them all in the bank now. You know what I mean? That way, when it comes out, I'm thinking like in February, I'm gonna start putting them out one or two a week. I'm not sure, but like tomorrow I'm doing Tupac, Tupac, All Eyes on Me, uh, with Martin Phillips. Actually, he's another comedian in the DC area. I'm doing Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City. I'm doing that with my sister, and then I'm doing Fallout Boy, Take This to Your Grave. I'm doing that with another guest. So yeah, man, it's fun, and it's all kind of stuff too. Like I have a very broad taste in music, so like it's the show's gonna have everything from like rap. I obviously love rap, but also really like punk. I like pop punk. Also like metal. I kind of went through my phase with like some of the more emo core, metal core stuff. Death metal I like. I'm gonna do an episode with on Between the Buried and Me. Probably gonna do a Metallica episode. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go as deep as you can get with it. I'm gonna do everything. I just did one. I did a Janet Jackson one. I'm probably gonna do like a Cher one. I'm telling you, dude, I'm gonna be all over the map with this. But yeah, so that's the idea.
And we have one.
We have one scheduled. Yeah, on Real Big Fish. Is it turn the radio off or turn off the radio? I've listened to the album a few times. I like it a lot. I'm just not sure what the title is.
It's turn the radio off.
Turn the radio off. Yeah, it's a fun one. Yeah,
It is.
Sell Out. I love that song. I heard that song on. I used to play video games a lot whenever I played FIFA 2000. This is how long ago this was. So I haven't played video games in forever. But when I was younger, I had a PlayStation 2, which came out 19 years ago. And one of the first games I had was FIFA 2000. And yeah, as soon as you turn the game on, Sell Out by Real Big Fish comes on. So I was always a big fan of that song.
Yay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's your favorite album?
What's my favorite album? I have a lot of favorite albums. It depends on the genre. But I'll say like, oh goodness. Okay, I'll give you like five. I'll give you five of my favorite
Okay.
albums. It's gonna be really, really difficult. So one of them, I guess, one of my favorite albums growing up was probably The Carnival by Wyclef Jean. Came out in like 97. That one was really, really good. Um, I also really liked Blueprint by Jay-Z. That's another one of my favorite. That came out in like 2000. That actually came out on 9/11. Um, Not haha funny, but it's funny because funny like weird. Um, I also really like on the metal side of things. Between the Bird and Me has an album called Colors that I really like. Came out in 2007. Literally changed my life. Um, and Kendrick Lamar has an album called To Pimp a Butterfly. I really like. It's another rap album. And there's a band called Dance Gavin Dance. They have an album called Downtown Battle Mountain. That's another one. So those I'd say are like my five. Yeah. So The Carnival by Wyclef, Blueprint by Jay-Z, To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick, Colors by Between the Bird and Me, and Downtown Battle Mountain by Dance Gavin Dance. I'd say.
All right.
Yeah.
And then
What about you? I'm kind of curious. Do you have an overarching like favorite album, or is it something that it'll take you some time to really think about it?
I don't know. I probably have. I mean, I like a lot of bands, but I probably have to go with the Aquabats.
Oh yeah, the Aqua. Okay.
Fury of the Aquabats. Just because I don't know. The time when I saw them, my favorite band was Goldfinger, and they opened for Goldfinger, and I had never seen anything like. I don't know. Their show is really fun and funny, and and I remember they had like torches with fire. I don't know. My parents took me. My mom still talks to this day about how she's scared they're gonna burn the whole building down.
Great.
And I don't know, it was just like the greatest thing I'd ever seen. And like after that night, they're like my favorite band, just because
I always really
I've never
loved
seen
that.
anything like that. And I was
Yeah.
like, today I'm still like thinking about it. I'm like, wow, I'm so glad that my parents took me to see that.
Yeah, I always really enjoy like going to a concert for someone else and then seeing like another band or another artist and then being turned on to them.
Yeah.
Like that's happened to me a few times. Yeah, I've seen that a lot. The Aquabats, by the way, for people who don't know, Travis Barker from Blink 182 was on the was a member of the Aquabats for a while, right?
Yeah, he was there actually at that show.
He was at that show. What year was that?
I think like the end of 97.
Oh, that's so cool, dude. Wow.
Trying to make me be old.
No, it's great.
My parents took me. That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you were a tyke, as they say. But also, yeah, like that's happened to me too. I used to go to Warped Tour a lot when I was younger, relatively younger. And I saw Kill Switch Engage at Warped Tour one year. I think it was like 2005, and I was like, "This is amazing." Just what I mean. They had a lot of energy. They're running around this and that. I also saw, there's a number of bands like that I've seen. Chiodos, I saw them at Warped Tour. Did the same thing. Under Oath, but I was already kind of a fan of theirs. It's always cool.
Well, I've seen bands before that I like didn't know, or like I heard like I think their song was on the radio and there was some stuff on MTV and like I knew who they were, But like I've seen other bands too that I like didn't know and like liked, but I've never had anyone actually be like my favorite band like from that, and I wasn't expecting that.
Oh
Like
yeah.
never had that happen except for then. Like they've been my favorite band ever since then. I mean,
Wow.
there's
Yeah.
other bands I like too, but I don't know. There wasn't anyone else has made me have like that feeling of like, oh my god, that was so amazing.
That is kind of incredible to go from I've never heard of these guys ever.
Well, I'd heard of
To,
them, but I
to
didn't know I'd like them that much until I saw them, and I was like, wow. And then they
but
played,
that's the moment that did it.
yeah, and then they played songs with their hands, and I was like, whoa.
Don't the Acrobats have like
I think
20
it's like
people in the
Barbie
band
girl.
or something? Don't they have like a million people in there?
There's less now. There's a bunch then.
Like, was it over under? Or was it like more than
It
six?
was like 200.
That's a lot. That's a lot of people. Actually, no. There's a band called The Locust. This is a metal band. Well, metal-ish.
Yeah.
They remind me of the Acrobats a lot. Because they all wear, and you have to like, for anyone who's watching this, I guess you have to look up like the Locust live, like whatever. They have like a million people in the band. Right? They're like, I guess, a grindcore metal band, but they have like 10 people in the band. They all wear costumes. It's the Locust, so like
Yeah.
it's bugs, like they're dressed up as bugs, and they it's crazy, but they run all over the stage. The music sounds okay, and it's fast and it's like grindy and they're just yelling and this and that, but it's I get the same kind of vibe from them as I do the
Yeah.
Aquabats.
Well, that's funny. What was it? They
The
said
Locust.
well, well, they said they started doing it because their friends wanted to get into shows, and so like they just made them like, oh, you're part of the band, you can be this, or you can be this villain and whatever, so you get in for free.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
So
no.
yeah.
I've never been the kind that's like into bands who dress up though. I feel like it's like, come on, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? You guys are grown. You have an apartment, you have a mortgage. Let's get it together. You know what I mean, why the cost? Like with Kiss, I was never a fan of Kiss, dude. I just don't think like I can really trust. I don't think I can like seriously listen to like grown men who think they're monsters or something like that.
What about
Right?
Guar? What
That's the
about
thing.
Guar?
I can't do anything with Guar. They're from Richmond.
I know, that's why I brought it up.
Yeah. I don't like Guar at all. I don't get it. I don't get whether aliens or I don't understand what their thing is. I don't understand what their message is. I don't understand what their songs are trying to. I just don't. I can't. I don't get it. You know.
I don't know. So about albums. So you and Martin Phillips, didn't you have a rap album?
We yeah. Me and Martin
Right.
had a rap album. It's actually not out yet.
Oh, I thought you had it on SoundCloud or something.
Well, we had so yeah. So I mean, here's the thing. The thing with this rap album that me and Martin um, had, or we're supposed to have, it's a legend. It's we were supposed to record it back in 2016, back when I think people wanted to hear it. They didn't really want to hear it. They just thought it was funny that we were pretending we had an album coming out. But we were gonna record like 10 songs. We recorded one, but then we got lazy, so we just shelved it. You know what I mean? And we got this song like mastered and stuff. And then I had a little radio show. Me and a few buddies. We played the song. It was fun. They made fun of us for it, and this and that. And then I moved away, so it became harder to record music. But a few years ago, or yeah, like a year ago, pre-Corona, BC, before Corona, um, we yeah, Martin and I got back together and like we recorded a song on his radio show, which was kind of funny. So we put that on SoundCloud. But there's a full length album coming out,
All right.
the whole thing. And
When's it
Martin can really rap, dude.
cool? Do you know when it's gonna come out?
It's still TBD. We gotta figure out the record deal. Because we have to get paid for it. You know what I'm saying? So we're in talks with like different record labels and things like
Okay.
that. We're gonna set that whole thing up, and it'll be a whole thing, dude.
Okay. We'll keep you guys posted.
That's right.
Okay, so let's get into the comedy. So why did you decide to start performing stand-up comedy?
Well, I yeah, it's funny. Like, you know, I was just always a fan of well so I guess the main thing was I always loved comedy growing up. Um, I always thought I was funny. Um, and I just love to watch comedy. So Comedy Central was the channel I always put on, but I had like an epiphany in 2005. This is real. I was watching Chappelle. He had a special called, and it's funny. Chappelle's been popular forever, but there was a time when he was like away from the consciousness. I just think it's funny. Like everyone really adores him now. We all adored him back in 05 too and stuff, but you know, I was a massive Chappelle fan when Chappelle show was going on, and he had a special called um, "For What It's Worth." Like I saw that thing when I was 18, and I saw someone perform comedy at a high level, and I was like, I would love to do it. I have to do this. Like basically, I told myself I have to do that because I would love to be able to do something like that at that level. I think that's kind of the thing that pushed me. So then after that, each year, New Year's would come around. I'd be like, yeah, this year I'm going on stage. And I didn't for years. I didn't for like 8 years. But in the back of my head, that Chappelle special was always there. And eventually, one year, I think I told like one of my family members, like, hey, I want to, do open mics, start doing like comedy and stuff. And it was my sister actually, and she made me. She kind of held me accountable. She was like, "Hey, Rudy, this Thursday we're going. Where are your jokes? Do you have them ready? All that stuff." So she was kind of pushing me to get it ready, and I went and I did it. And after the first time I did it, I was like, "Yeah, I'm never stopping this ever." So that's kind of what made me do. But also, like, I also had a lot of like um, people I watched and really enjoyed. Chappelle was definitely one of them. I really liked Conan O'Brien. I just loved his show, and I loved how just silly he was. I just love silliness. But also, Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn was a show that was on Comedy Central, and I really liked the setup of the show because it had just like a round table of like 4 or 5 comedians, and they talk about like topics and stuff, but it would always turn into them bashing each other, making fun of each other, that whole thing. And I was always a fan of like the Rat Pack kind of like roasty Rat Pack shows like that. So that was also another like influence, I guess. So yeah, those are the things.
Mm. So how long have you been doing stand up?
Well, started in 2014, and then I was in Virginia for about 2.5, well, like 3 years. Well, really 2.5. I started like in the summer of 14. I was in Virginia till um, February of 17. I moved down to Florida, and for like 2 years, I didn't really do it much down here. Like I think one year I only went on stage like twice. I think in 2 years I went on stage like 4 times, and wasn't until I moved to Rockledge, where I am now, where I'm like 45 minutes from Orlando. I kind of been trying to get myself a little bit more into the swing of things. So like over the past year, it's been a lot easier to do it remotely and stuff. You don't really have an excuse to be like, I'm not gonna go out and do it tonight. So I've been doing it a little bit more regularly this year. But once we're done with Corona, I'd love to hit the stage again. That'll be something I'm looking forward to do. Yeah. So
Cool. So where'd you do your first open mic, and how did that go?
whew, was in Newport News, Virginia. Um, at a little club called Kazi's Comedy Club, which still around. I mean, obviously it's still around. They're the longest running club in Virginia, I think. But yeah, it was a Thursday open mic. It was a great room because there was really no other room on Thursdays on the peninsula in Virginia like that. So I mean, there'll be a lot of comics there. Um, and then some nights too, like there'll be a lot of people showing up for open mic night. So it was like a fun kind of atmosphere. So I went in there, I was excited. I'd been to the club before, like on a weekend show, and checked it out. And yeah, I mean, it didn't go well. but it didn't go terrible. I think that's the case for most people. I think there's a lot of like comedians who tell stories about their first time on stage, and it's either like, oh, I really bombed, or like I really did terrible. But I think most people will, if they're honest about it, they'll be like, yeah, it was whatever. It wasn't necessarily amazing, but it also wasn't terrible. It was just regular. That's kind of how my thing was. And yeah, but it was just a rush. Like honestly, I've gone through. Yeah. I mean, that's really all I remember about it. It was just it was fun. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible, but it was just regular. But I did enjoy it a lot. And my second point is just that I feel like the rush that you get going on stage. I think this applies to pretty much anyone. Like if you play music or whatever, if you do anything, if you're a stripper, I don't know, you know what I mean. But like um I've gone through periods of time where I said like, oh, I'm just not gonna do comedy for a little bit, and then like I don't know, the next day I decide to just go up on stage or whatever. The rush that you get when you're on there, sometimes you forget about it, but when you get back on stage, even if you do well or if you do terrible, whatever, that rush to me, it's unexplainable to me. It's just, I mean, it's for that reason that I just know that I'll never stop doing this. It's amazing. So, yeah, like it's that's what I experienced the first time when I went there, and I told myself, yeah, I'm just not gonna stop. I'm not gonna ever not do this. It's great.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah. Do
So
you get this? You get what I'm saying, right? I mean, you kind of get the same rush too when you go on stage, and it's like, right,
if it
or
goes well,
if, only if it goes well.
I don't know if it's not. It depends.
Yeah, I
Sometimes.
gotcha. But it is I mean, like it just feels, yeah,
Yeah.
it feels great. It feels great being up there.
But
Yeah.
yeah. So how would you describe your comedy?
Yeah, I don't know. When I started, I did a lot of one-liners just because I didn't really know, kind of, you know what I mean. And then the one-liners kind of turned into more kind of just silly, quick jokes kind of thing. And I think that's kind of where I was when I left Virginia. It was just a bunch of like silly, a bunch of shorter jokes. Not really, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um, I think where I'm at now is I'm kind of experimenting with just more. I've kind of been focusing on like the basics a lot more of like you got your setup punch tag, but also adding more to it. You know what I mean, and kind of just playing around with things with like concepts and stuff. But what I'm trying to do more too is kind of talk about things more than make observations. So like I don't know, I'm in kind of a weird transitional period where I'm trying to transition away from just doing quick jokes to more real jokes about like subject matter that's real to me. So it's kind of doing something like that. I mean, comedy is fun, um, and yeah, it's an art. It's a craft, rather, right? You know, I do, but like I'm not necessarily talking about deep things. It's like it's about things that are real to me, but it's like silly stuff. You know what I mean? Like I have a joke about going to the moon and how kind of silly I think that is because like we have everything on Earth that we need and stuff like that. So like, but it's about things like that. It's not like really like deep mining of your like whatever. I mean, it's just yeah. But that's basically kind of what I'm trying to transition into now. It's not going well right now at all, but but I don't know. Hopefully in a couple of years it gets a little bit better. You know what I mean? So but yeah, I'm kind of transitioning away from like the shorter jokes and more into someone like so I got a couple really great pieces of advice from a couple people like back when I was in Virginia. One of them was to talk more about things, like you know what I mean, and talk more about like one guy said one guy told me once like, Rudy, you seem like you've been through a lot of things, but you never talk about it on stage, or you talk about as dumb silly stuff. Like talk more about yourself and talk more about things you think. And I was like, okay, I think that's really good. And then another one I got was when I was having trouble writing, someone told me to just write my way out of it. So those are kind of two things I'm trying to do now, where trying to just write more, and write more about real tangible things, but also to just talk more about maybe my thoughts and talk more about, you know, yeah, basically that's it. Thoughts and ideas and things like that. So that's where I'm at right now with it.
All right. So, what do you think about comedy during the quarantine times?
Yeah, it's rough. I don't like it, but it's convenient because if you have a like a webcam and a mic, yeah, you can. I mean, you can do a bunch of mics every night. You can do like 3, 4 mics a night. It kind of I mean, it's squashed everything. Here where I live now, I live like 45 minutes from Orlando, but I live closer to Melbourne, Florida, and like there's maybe 2, 3 mics a week. Like Orlando has like a mic every night. But if you look at a place like New York, there's like 3, 4 mics a night. Now that everything is virtual for now, like I mean, you can hop on a 2 New York mics and then and one mic in San Francisco. You know what I mean? Like there's really no excuse for someone like in our position where we're open micing it and we're I don't know we're doing just like local comedy and stuff. There's no excuse to not write and perform something because I mean there's unlimited um, comedy shows really you can tap into. So
Yeah.
that I think that's it sucks though because so what I guess the good part of it is that you don't have an excuse. You can get on anytime you want. The bad part of it is you I don't know. It's hard to gauge like your material on a Zoom call, right? Because you don't know if people are laughing and be polite. You don't know if people are laughing but they're muted. You don't know if like as when you're on the internet, you're talking on Zoom and then you kind of your audio leaves for a second, it comes, but you don't know if like that happened at your punchline. Because I've had a few things where like I don't know, I tried to like open up with a kind of like a new joke or something like that, and I say it to complete silence, and then and then I do a setup for another joke, and that gets laughs, and I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make sense. So you don't know. Like it's harder to gauge. Yeah, the craft of like stand up comedy and the way it is, the best place for that is like in a comedy club, even if it's like a comedy club at an open mic night where there's not a lot of people there, or whatever. But that's still the best setting for it. The setting isn't really made for that, but I don't know. We make it work, I guess. So that's the good and the bad, I guess, part of it.
No. So, you kind of like the online shows?
Yeah, yeah. Kind of,
Kind of.
yeah,
Just a little
you
bit.
know, just a little bit. You know, I don't know. It's
Okay.
I still prefer the real thing over like
Well, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, but it's got it's good and it's bad. But I enjoy it for what it is.
So, how is comedy different in Florida than Virginia?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I haven't really I like it when I was in Virginia. Like I was on stage every night. It was great. But like down here, I haven't done a whole lot of it. So I don't really know. I think it depends on where you are. One thing, like in Virginia, typically you had like 5 minutes. You find a mic, you'd have some mics it was 3 minutes, some mics you actually have five. There really weren't a lot of places where on an open mic night you get like 10 minutes. A lot of like mics I went to like specifically in South Florida, like the standard is 10 minutes. It's weird. Like you get on and be expected to do 10, and that was cool, but it's not really what I was used to. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's just the South Florida thing or whatever, but I noticed that. But I don't know. I mean, it's it's warmer, so you're doing comedy to in a warmer climate. So I don't know. Maybe people are happier. I don't know, or crazier. I don't know. I don't know what the issue is, but yeah, it's different. I don't know how it's different, but it's different. Yeah.
They're dressed differently.
Yeah, they're dressed differently, dude. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they play Jimmy Buffett everywhere around here. So,
The
yeah.
Hawaiian shirts are acceptable.
Oh yeah, dude. It's major, major, dude.
So,
Like you look weird if you don't have one on.
okay. So they'd blend in at my beach.
Oh, they certainly was. Yeah, at the beach you're at right now.
Yep.
Yeah, dude.
So do you do anything
There's a lot
different?
of like weird. There's a lot of like weird amphibians around here too. Like the animals are really
Okay.
they're off putting. I've seen like or they're not amphibians, the reptiles. I saw the biggest lizard I've ever seen in my life just the other day, dude. It was disgusting.
Was that the comedy show?
No, it was just just walking on the side of
You came
the
on there.
road. You know what I mean? But
Yikes.
yeah, I don't know. It sucks.
I was following you to the comedy show.
Certainly was. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, do you do anything different, like based on where you're performing or who you're performing, like to, like for the
Mm.
people or the venue?
No, not really. You know, I guess you should. I don't know. you know, I don't. you know, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really. No, yeah. I mean, you know, there might be some, you know, maybe like if someone's doing a joke and someone before me is doing a joke and like I don't know, the subject matter is kind of similar, and I can, you know what I mean? Maybe, or if like something happened and you know what I mean? You know, but in general, I think for me, it's kind of like I go into it with like some stuff I want to work on, you know, and yeah, it just kind of is what it is. Like I think if you have like a little bit more material, then you can kind of work your material around like who's there and stuff. But I never really had that much material. I always like I think at one time the most material I've ever had is like 15 minutes, and that's a lot,
Yeah.
and that's like everything. So 15, which sounds really bad actually, but 15, and like and then like good jokes like maybe 8, not even 10, 8. So then you have to do a lot of like oh it's crazy. Things are crazy out here, aren't they? Oh man, nice hat. Yeah. Anyways, you know what I mean? What's up? Well, you know, like that. So I don't know. Yeah. So I'm not really in that position.
But
I'm
if
not
you,
in a position to like serve my material
yeah,
at will to random people.
cool. But if you have 15, you could just do it twice and be like,
Exactly, dude.
I got 30.
Look at that. I told a joke twice once. You know what I mean?
Did they
It was
notice?
great. Oh yeah, people noticed. Yeah, like I was like I like it was a, and you know it was a funny thing because I realized I was telling it halfway through. Like I told the joke and then I went into another thing, and I started telling the joke again. And I said, I've already told that one. It was great, dude.
That's
And
like,
everyone knew, and it was yeah, it was terrible.
yeah, that's like the time that I did a callback to a joke I had to skip the joke.
So you skipped the joke and then you
Yeah,
called back
I
the
did
joke
the
you didn't do.
callback, and then like I looked at this lady in the front, and she looked really confused, and then I was like, "Oh, whoops! I didn't do the joke that I was referring to." I was like, "What?"
Oh, that's great.
And then, and so then it was kind of weird. And then so then I had to I said that, and I shouldn't have looked at that whatever. So then I'd stop, and so then I was like, okay. And then I heard some other lady in the front row going, "What is happening?"
Oh,
And so then I started back into the rest of it. But the cool part was this was actually a clash. So
oh, nice.
so the cool part was though somehow by the time I was done, I actually got the audience back with me, and they were still laughing and clapping again, which I didn't think that was going to happen. So I was like, okay, that was good.
There you go. Let's see that. Listen.
But it was embarrassing at the time, but now it's like funny to tell the story. Just
Oh, it's great.
long as it doesn't happen again, but
Yeah, yeah, it's great.
just that one time.
Yeah. No.
But and then someone was like, if you do that, you should just keep going. And I was like, well, the lady in the front row kind of caught me off guard. And then I
Yeah.
was like, oh yeah. Well,
The lady that was giving me the weird confused look really messed up my whole thing that I was doing up here.
I mean, they kind of look at me like that anyway, but this was a little more than normal. It's like, whoa.
You're like,
Yeah.
that lady's squinting more than usual.
And then the lady talked to me afterwards too. She's like, I'm sorry. And I was like, it's not your fault.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
was like, that's funny.
Yeah, your face just does that. You know what I mean? It's kind of involuntary, but
But yeah,
yeah, no, yeah,
but that was
absolutely.
funny that she talked to me afterwards. I
Yeah,
was like,
man.
yeah. But anyway, okay. So here's another. We're gonna jump around. What is something that people would be surprised to know about you?
Oh wow. See, this is I like this. I like this right here. Yeah, you know what I mean? You're jumping around a little bit.
What?
Something uh see, we're gonna go back to music then. If we're doing that. Because I don't know if people will be surprised about this, but this is like, you know, people when you listen to stuff like you have like what's it called? Like your uh what's it called? It sounds weird and sexual, but it shouldn't be. Your hidden pleasure. Is what do people say that? Secret pleasure? There's something pleasure. But it's supposed to be like an artist or someone you listen to that you wouldn't necessarily admit that you do.
Oh, and
But
it's guilty
guilty
pleasure.
pleasure. Doesn't that sound weird and sexual, dude? I think
What
that
did you
sounds like
call it?
sexy and
Your
um
secret pleasure?
yeah, secret pleasure. That's the worst. Um I huge Limp Bizkit fan. That's what people will be surprised. Huge. I love them. You know who Limp Bizkit is? I know you listen to ska a
I
lot.
have a funny story. I'll tell them, but you
Oh,
do your
great.
thing first.
Huge. So I'm a big fan of Limp Bizkit from, and this is the Limp Bizkit that everyone listened to back in the day,
Yeah.
but the significant really everything from they have an album called $3 Bill, y'all, which to me is a classic album, right? Uh, and they have Significant Other right after that, and they have Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water. I don't like that one. That one has that song Rollin' Rollin'. That right there, dude. I was like in high school. I was like a freshman in high school, and I was like, no, I don't. No, it's too much for me, Fred. I don't like it. But yeah. So from 95 to 90, oh no, 97 to 99, huge Limp Bizkit fan. I think some people would be surprised to learn that about me because I don't really tell people that. But yeah,
Well, that's cool.
yeah. You know that song Break Stuff?
I don't know. I didn't really listen to them. My friend did. That's what I was gonna tell the story about.
Well, but the song Break Stuff was a huge song, right? And the lyrics to it is it's just one of them days when you don't want to wake up. Everything's fuck. Oh, can I curse?
I don't care.
I know, no.
It's
Everything is
fine.
effed. Everyone sucks. That's the name. That's the lyrics. The lyrics is it's just one of those days you don't want to wake up. Everything's effed and everyone sucks. And the guy who wrote this was like 31. But I mean, that sounds like those lyrics sound like it should be written in crayon. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, huge fan of that era Limp Bizkit. I'm sorry for cursing.
It doesn't matter. Unless you say like a bunch of them in a row, I'm not gonna
Okay,
take them out.
okay. Well, in that case, then
You can be like blah 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 blah
okay.
blah.
In
See
that
if
case, then
she
can
edits
you?
it.
Yeah.
No, my friend used to like them, and I don't know. She either wrote them or they had like a call line where you called in. I don't know, whatever she did. She either wrote them or called them or something, whatever. We went somewhere and we came back and we got there, her dad said something like, "Oh, Limp Biscuit called," and we're like, "What?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Yeah, I just talked to Fred on the phone," and we're like, "Huh?" And so apparently he actually like called back and talked to my friend's dad, and I was like, "Well, that's really cool."
That's crazy. What year was this?
I don't know. It was back when we were in school. I don't know.
If this was like 99, that's a huge deal,
It
dude.
was 90s something. I don't know.
Oh, so it was definitely before 2000. It wasn't in the 2000s that happened. That was in the
No,
90s
it's
that
probably
happened.
like the 90s.
Oh, that's a huge deal, dude. Because I remember like when Eminem first came out, and like he was talking about hanging out with Fred Durst and like whatever. Yeah, like because Eminem was like just as a frame of reference, like Eminem was huge at that point, and Eminem and Fred Durst were like buddies, I guess. And I just know I just remember that being really cool because I liked Eminem a lot and I liked Fred Durst a lot. So I don't
Yeah.
know because he was huge. Fred Durst was huge back then.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
that's a big deal. That's like getting a phone call right now, okay, from Justin Bieber, dude.
I don't
I
know.
said what I said.
That's not a very good comparison.
All right, fair enough. Some people still like Justin Bieber, don't they? Okay, okay, that's like
I don't
getting a
know.
phone call, dude. Barack Obama right now. Barack
Barack
Obama,
Obama. I
Barack
won't put that
Hussein
either.
Obama right now. That's
No,
like that.
I don't think you compare that either. That's
Yeah.
that's a different direction.
No, yeah.
Obama would have to
Barack
be
Hussein Obama. Oh,
above.
Barack Obama called. That imagine your dad said someone's dad said, yeah, that's the same thing, dude.
My mom gets mail from them.
She gets mail from
We got we have a
from
Christmas
Obama.
yeah, we have a Christmas card from the Obamas and like Bo and dog. I don't know
Bo.
the dog.
Oh, the dog's. Wait, but whose dog? The Obama's dog.
Wanted named the dog Bo. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, the dog's name is Bo.
Or I don't know if it was when he was president.
Gotcha. Cool. I know nothing about Obama's dog, so you know what I mean. I can't call you out.
If you give money to the Democrats, they'll send you Christmas cards.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Wish I had money to give them. You know what I mean?
But yeah, this went like way off track. I'm like, what did how did we get to this?
Limp Bizkit. Me comparing Obama to Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah. No, Barack Obama, right? That's like, I'm telling you, dude, in terms of like
it'd be
popularity.
It'd be more like Bernie Sanders.
Okay, yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Oh.
Maybe yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Bernie's huge. People love Bernie. Yeah, it's like that.
I can see Bernie rocking out. Obama,
Actually, no. Maybe,
Obama rocks out, but it wouldn't be like Limp Bizkit wise.
Yeah, that's fair. Limp Bizkit did rock out, dude. They had that guy with the weird, that Wesley Borland, the guitarist guy who didn't have eyes. He always wore like weird contacts that made it seem like he didn't have eyes, dude. It was so. That's the thing. That's the thing, man. I thought it was so cool. You ever like really think about things you thought were cool when you were a kid? I thought that was really cool, dude. I thought that like, I thought everything about Fred Durst was cool.
Well, I think it's cool that he calls people.
Yeah, that was probably once. I don't know if he did that to anyone else, I don't know. Maybe he's a good guy. I don't know. I've never met him. I would have loved to meet him though when I was a kid. Yeah. I've never met any celebrities. I've not one.
You've met comedians, same thing.
Okay. I met Earthquake, the comedian. I met him. I don't know. I don't think he liked me though. I think he thought I was annoying.
You don't think anyone likes you?
Yeah. Well, he gave me the vibe like, man, get this, like get this dude out of here. That's the vibe I got from him. Who else did I meet? I met Tom Segura, and yeah, he was cool.
Cool.
I met Big J Okerson, another comedian, cool guy, but I don't know, I got the same vibe from him. Oh, and I met Dan Soder. So like I had this thing, right? So back when I lived in, Dan Soder, right? Comedian.
Yeah.
I lived obviously in Virginia, and there was a show in North Carolina that Dan Soder was doing. It was 5 hours from where I lived, right? And it was a Friday, so I said, "Screw this! I'm going to that show." So like, right, and so I left Virginia, drove all the way down to North Carolina to see him, and I left the house at 5, and I got to the show like at 9:30. It was like the late show. He had just gotten on stage, and I watched the set, and then like afterwards, I met him, and I was like, "Hey Dan, I'm a huge fan, this and that." Like, I drove from Virginia Beach actually. Like, he was like, "What? You drove 5 hours?" Like, he was really, you know what I mean? He was like, "Wow, dude, that's great. Thank you. I really." He seemed really touched that I drove 5 hours to see him, right? And then like I was listening to the show, to like the radio show he does that Monday, and he was talking. They were talking about their shows because he does a show with Big J Okerson, and they were talking about the weekend shows they were doing, and then they started talking about fans, like the fans that wanted to see them, right? And then like Dan started saying, "Yeah, there was a guy that drove," and then Big J interrupted him and started talking about something else. blah 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 blah, and then they had to go to break, and they went to break. And I always thought,
That's not.
was he gonna say there was a guy that drove 5 hours? And like, but maybe I don't know. Maybe he was gonna start saying something else. I don't know. But I was always
Where'd
mad.
you see him?
I saw him at Dead Crow Comedy Club
Okay.
in
Yeah.
Wilmington, North Carolina.
Cool.
Yeah, it was great. I
You
got in, like, I got to the door, and I was like, because I'd been there before, and so I knew a guy. Maybe I shouldn't. I knew a guy who I got it through the back. Yeah,
Wow.
so I
You
didn't
must have
pay.
made a good impression.
No, because yeah, it's whatever.
They're letting you in the back.
No, there was a
Fancy.
it was a comic I knew who had been to Kazi's, so I knew him from there, and so I texted him like, "Dude, I'm gonna be there tonight." He was like, oh, "Okay, when you get here, let me know." So then when I got there, I let him know. He was like, "Come this way," and I went through
Well,
so
that's cool.
well, I met Dan Soder, funny guy. I like meeting comedians though; it's fun.
You should tell your story about when you met Joe List.
Yeah, I met. I did. I got to meet Joe. It was really fun. I actually got to meet Mark too, Mark Norman. But I didn't get officially get to meet him. I guess I said hi to him, and they said hey hey or something like that. You know Mark Norman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. But yeah. So like when I first came down here to Florida, I was excited. I was like, oh, Florida, it's great, this and that, and I was working and stuff, but I looked on my phone and I saw that Joe List was going to be in Florida too. He's going to be performing. Joe's one of my favorite comics of all time. He's one of the younger guys. He's like my age. He's like in his 30s, but he's not like really that popular. He does a podcast with Mark Norman. Mark Norman's getting huge now. He like works with Seinfeld, this and that. It's actually funny. Joe List used to work for Louis C.K. before all the allegations. So when he was working for him before then, he was like, oh, I think he thought he made it. He was like, oh, this is great. I'm opening for Louis and things are great. And then all the Louis stuff happened, and now Louis doesn't really tour anymore. So I don't know how interesting of a story that was, but anyways, so Joe List was gonna be here, and I was like, I really want to see him live because I'd like to hear some of his newer jokes. I'd never really seen him live, and I've only seen like clips of his stuff, and I thought it was really funny. So I was like, yeah, let me drive to where the show is. I'm in Florida now. It's no big deal. It'll be really close. Um, so I realized the show was in Tampa, and I lived in a town called Stewart. Tampa's on the West Coast. Stewart is on the East Coast, literally. It took me 4.5 hours to drive to Tampa, which I didn't fully realize. I thought it was going to be like 2 hours or whatever. It was 4 hours, 4.5 hours. But I left work right at 5, drove all the way to Tampa, and I was like, I'm gonna like talk to him. I'll be like, because he had his issues with drinking and stuff like that, and I kind of did too. And I wanted to kind of, talk to him and tell him like, hey, I really like your comedy and stuff like that, and this and that. So in my head, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be buddies with Joe List. You know what I'm saying? He'll be like, oh, I like this guy. Like me and him, we have a lot in common, dude. You know what I mean? Blah blah blah. So I was like, this is great. So I drive all the way out there. This was just me. Like it was, but this was a Thursday show. So Thursday shows, date nights are like Fridays and Saturdays. Thursdays and Sundays, what I mean? Degenerates come out, people who don't have any other place to go. So like I didn't think it was a big deal. But I show up there and like there was all just couples there. I was like, okay, this is weird. So I was the weird guy at a table by himself. But it was all good though, because like I ordered mad food and I was just, what I'm saying, whatever. But so I was there, I was at a table by myself. Just imagine like a big, like a date night table, dude, with a candle in the middle and all that, and just lonely me sitting at the table. Um, but I was there and I saw Joe, and it was really funny, all that stuff. And then as I was leaving, there was kind of like a line for people who wanted to, I guess, talk to him. So, like, keep this in mind. When Joe's album first came out, I bought it because I was again a huge fan. I bought the album before when it came out. Like I pre-ordered it. It came out. I got it. So I'd listened to it a number of times. I know, what I mean. I know his jokes and stuff, But I was waiting in line to talk to him, and he was standing at a table like with a stack of like his digital CDs and stuff. And so I'm at the table. No, I'm in line. I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna talk to him about this. Then I'm gonna do that. And so I get right to the thing, right, and it's me right there from him. I'm like, hey Joe, and then he's like, hey buddy, and then I'm like, great show, man. You know, he's like, thank you, and then I froze. I didn't. I was like, Then he goes, do you want a CD? I was like, yeah, I'll take a CD. And then he signed it, and I paid him $10 for a CD I already had. And then he was like, thanks for coming out. And I just walked out awkwardly. Didn't tell him about drinking. Didn't tell him about, yeah, I do comedy too, kind of. Didn't tell him, you know what I mean? And I just walked out. I was like, yeah, here you go. That's my Joe List
That's funny.
story.
Well, at least he signed it.
Yeah, he signed it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I listened to the CD on the way home. It was a long drive too,
Yeah.
4.5 hours, and I had to work the next day.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it was rough. I could have just waited till Friday, and I could have driven there, then whatever. But yeah. I don't know. That was a fun story to me. I don't know how much.
I think it's funny.
Anyone else?
I like it. At least you got to see him too.
Yeah. It was great. Joe's really funny. I'm a
I mean,
big fan of Joe.
there's always next time.
Yeah.
You can practice.
Yeah. No, there. I remember the next year he was in Tampa, and I would have gone. I just I don't know. Yeah, like the first year that I moved down here, like I love to like travel to all parts of Florida, but now I'm lazy, dude. I don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
So
what it is.
let's see. So do you collect anything or have any hobbies?
As far as hobbies, well, I don't know if listening to music is a hobby, but
Mm.
I gotta tell you, I don't think there's anyone who listens to music better than I do. I think I'm an expert music listener, dude.
All right.
I'll challenge anyone. Like, you know what I mean? I listen to music very well. And this has nothing to do with the kind of music I'm listening to or whatever. I'm not trying to make it a thing like I'm I listen to better music than anyone because who cares, you know? But I think I listen to music better than anyone, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, I don't know, hobbies. Um, yeah, listening to music. I like this. I call myself the king of lists. I like making lists. Um, you know, I like ranking. Basically, all my hobbies involve music. So it's either the discussion of music, like arguing about music. I like doing that. You know what I mean? Making like hot takes about music, ranking music. Like you say an artist's name, I'll give you the top 10. They're the best albums from best to worst. Try it right now. Just say an artist's name, and I'll give you the album. But do like someone I know.
We're
How
doing
about
real.
this?
Okay. What?
Let's do Rancid.
Okay.
All right. Number 1, and Out Came the Wolves. Number 2, Let's Go. All right. Number 3, Rancid 93. All right. Number 4, Indestructible. You know what I mean? Number 5, Life Can Wait. I'll just give you a top 5. Boom. That's it. Off top of the dome.
All right.
You know what I mean?
So
Jay-Z, number 1, Reasonable Doubt. You know what I'm saying? Number 2, The Blueprint. You know what I mean? Number 3, Volume 1, My Lifetime. Number 4, uh, 444. Number 5, uh, Volume 3.
wow.
Boom. Kanye West, number 1, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Number 2, Late Registration. Number 3, College Dropout. Number 4, Graduation. Number 5, 808s of Heartbreak. Boom. Madonna, number 1. No, I don't know Madonna stuff. Yeah.
So
The Muppet Babies, no.
So do you have any advice to tell people how to be a better music listener?
Yeah.
Since you're the best.
Oh yeah. You gotta listen with your soul, dude. You have to open your soul up and listen with that. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing you can't listen with your ears. Your ears are gonna deceive you. You know what I mean? Your ears will make you think Lil Peep is good. Rest in peace to Lil Peep. You know what I mean? I like, you know what I mean? I didn't know the guy. He was a nice guy. You know what I mean? I can't listen to Lil Peep. You know what I'm saying? So I listen with my soul, and my soul goes, hey, skip that. You know what I mean? Put on, you know what I mean? Put on Queen Latifah or something like that. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. That's all I can really say. Just listen with your soul, dude. Your soul will guide you. Your soul will
That's
guide you.
good.
So just do that. You know what I mean? My soul, I mean, I've been guided in the wrong thing too. So it's happened to everybody, even the best. Okay, but what I'm saying is just, take it day by day, dude. So that's all I got.
Okay. So let's go back to the comedy. How do you come up with your joke ideas?
Uh, yeah. For me, it's trial and error. I write. I'm not one of these people. Some people like they'll walk around and inspiration will hit me. I'm not one of those people. I have to really mine it out of me because I'm very autopilot. I live my life on an autopilot thing, right? I don't really think much of the day. Really, honestly, if you see me walking around throughout the day, dude, I'm probably lost in my head somewhere. I'm not thinking. I'm just living life like a robot. So I have to really sit down, calm myself, and really just brain dump. And then when I brain dump, eventually I hit something. But sometimes it takes an hour, sometimes it takes 10 minutes. It's really hard. It's not easy for me. I think for some people it just comes out, but for me, I really have to like brain dump.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it's good to do that. I think everyone does that though. I think everyone. I mean, I would imagine for most people, that's how they do it. They just sit down and they write. Except if you're like really gifted and you can just have funny ideas in your head. But it's really, and also I think it really is a craft and stuff. Even just coming up with funny ideas and stuff, it's something you work at and the muscle gets stronger. But for me, it's just I sit down, I write a bunch of stuff. I do a thing in the morning where I wake up and I just write 3 pages, stream of consciousness off the top of my head,
Wow.
and not every day. I mean, some day, not most days, but I do. I try to do it regularly, and then sometimes something good's in there.
That's good.
And also I think for me too, like I think I tend to when I'm like, because I'm on the phone a lot. I'm one of those people like I call people. I don't like texting. I prefer to call people and stuff and have like long conversations. I'm a woman basically. Sorry, I didn't mean no disrespect. But yeah, so like I call people and I'm on the phone forever. Ask any of my friends, they'll tell you like, yeah, everybody's calling you. And like I talk for hours, and then a lot of times when I'm doing that, I'm like, oh, that was kind of funny, right? And then sometimes I explore that even more.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What about you? I'm curious, Sarah. Are you one of those people who just you get hit with inspiration and then you just write it down, or do you do the same thing?
I don't know. I found my best jokes usually come like when I'm not trying. Like I'll be watching something or talking to somebody, like you said, and I'll think of something funny and then I'll say it. Or sometimes if I am writing, I'll try to like think of a topic that I want to write about and
Mm,
then just kind of work with it for a while.
yeah.
I don't know. A lot of my jokes though ended up being like stuff that I had just written as like a Facebook status at some point that I thought was funny, and then I was like, well, that's okay. I don't
Oh,
know.
that's great.
Some of the jokes I do are actually stuff I had before I even like did comedy.
Really.
It's just like random things that I was like, that's funny. I don't know.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's funny that you said that. Like, your funniest stuff is when you weren't trying, right?
Usually,
Is that
I
what
don't
you
know.
said?
I have trouble. Like if I'm trying to do something, I feel like I don't know. You're trying too hard, and
Yeah,
it
you know
comes
the
out
whole
more
thing when you
serious than it's like funny.
yeah that whole thing of when you're trying to be funny, you're not.
Yeah.
Well, at least for me, like when I was a kid, people would always tell me like, Rudy, you're funny when you don't try to be funny, which I don't know, it sounds kind of, but it's I don't know. I feel like to a certain extent, Um, God, and I'm doing the thing I hate the most, where I'm trying to pontificate about comedy because it's really not that serious. But yeah, like a lot of times it's when you're like not trying that the best stuff comes out on. So it's a weird thing of how do you not try when you're trying, because you're writing. So how do you not try to be funny when you're writing? But some I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it, but I don't know, everyone has their own thing. But yeah, but like I think, one thing I am trying to explore now too is also things that anything that stirs up any kind of emotion in me, whether it's like anger or whether it's like frustration or what's what. Because really, you know, I mean, if you can engage your senses in a certain way on a certain topic, you can find the funny out of that. And then I feel like when people see you really emotional about something, they tend to react, right? Or if you're telling like something interesting,
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
I'm
Yeah,
trying to work on just like a topic, and I'll just like see if I can rant about it for a while. I
yeah, yeah, yeah,
don't know.
yeah. I'm just a huge fan of just straight up funny. Like when like Joe List does this a lot. That's why Joe's probably like really one of my favorite. Like he's probably top five, one of my favorite comics, because he's just like lethal with like he just knows how to write a joke where there's no fat on it. It's all funny, and it's like, you know what I mean. He'll set it up. There'll be a punchline, and it'll have like three tags to it. That's just this standard thing. A
Yeah.
setup punch, a bunch of tags, right? But then he uses the same topic and he flips it and he goes, oh, but what about this way? And then he does that again. And so like stacking jokes like that, where you have like one premise with three different setups, right? And a punch and like three tags on each angle. That's like nine. It's crazy, but like I just love jokes that are, I don't know. I prefer that kind of style to anything else. I'm a joke person. I like jokes. So the comedians I like are joke tellers. You know what I mean? Which is different than like kind of the more uh the the people who kind of rant about stuff, or the people who like, I mean, granted, those guys have jokes too and stuff. But I'm not saying they don't, but I'm saying like I'm like I'm a fan of like your Kathleen Madigan's, your, I mean, obviously Chappelle, your like your joke guys, like your, what's his name, Brian Regan's, you know what I mean, guys like that. Like I really like the joke kind of thing. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
feel like that's more my sensibility, um, and especially when you can have like one premise that you flip in three different ways, and you just tell like three different monster jokes in one. I just like that kind of stuff. The tell kind of does a bunch of random stuff, which is brilliant, but yeah, like Joe List really is the main person I can think of who is just incredible at that. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
I don't know. I like random stuff, but like for me, I just want to see. I need to write. I want to write. I want to get 30 minutes of just self-deprecating loser jokes and about how I don't have a boyfriend just for 30 minutes, and see how I can just drive everyone crazy. Because they'll either like it or be like, "Oh my god, shut up about." It. And even if I did have a boyfriend, I'd still be like,
For 30
"Yeah, you don't have a
minutes.
boyfriend." Yeah, it'd be funny. I think I have a problem, but yeah,
Oh, that's great, dude.
but yeah.
That's great.
But if
No,
you
I
talk,
think
that's
you'll be
another thing
fine.
too. I was thinking about when I write, like it's like stuff like that. It's totally different than if I was just like talking. Like the stuff that I write is not. I don't know. I mean, I
Mhm.
would do it a little bit, but I wouldn't take it as far, I guess, and keep. I don't know. I think
Yeah.
I have a sickness that can only be fixed by more loser jokes. It's like no.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. No, I like that. That's yeah. That sounds like an Instagram bio to me, right there. What you just said. I have a sickness that
It's
can only be
similar. Yeah.
cured
I
by
should have that.
more loser jokes.
I say my Instagram thing does say about I like loser jokes.
That's great.
I guess I should add that. They don't give you enough space though to really say everything I want to say.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you ever this is kind of is off topic, I guess, because I was just thinking about it. There's a did you ever watch that show Boy Meets World?
Yeah.
There's an episode when so obviously what's his Corey, right? Corey has a brother, Eric, I think,
He's
right?
my favorite. Will Friedle is like my favorite.
He is hysterical.
Or is that not how you say his name? I think I just
Will
said his name. How do you say his last
Wilfredell,
name? That's not how you say his last name, but that's how I'm going to say his last name.
Friedel, or what'd you say?
I didn't say it right, but we're going to go with that.
I think
I've
it's
never actually
Wilfredell because
heard
that's what
anyone say it. I like Friedel better, and we're going to call him that. And
Friedel is better though.
if he ever sees this, hi, Will Friedel.
Yeah, that's right.
I really like Trojan War, that movie. It's funny.
See, I haven't seen any of his movies, but I don't go that deep with Will Friedel. But I do like his work on Boy Meets World. It was great.
Yeah, I like
But
him the best, even though I don't know how to say his name.
he was great. But so there's one episode that just tickles me every time, right? And there's like the episode is about so eventually they had a little sister at some point. When like Corey and Eric went to college, they had their parents had another kid, right? Or I think right before then. I forgot what her name was. Do you remember that when they were like in college?
Not really.
But they were in college and they had a little sister, right? And so at some point, like, um, Will for or Eric or whatever, he starts dating this girl, right? Who's like a musician, but she only makes happy songs or whatever. And then like he dumps her, and then she gets like mean and she gets dark. And she had been trying to make it and break it into music, but she couldn't because her music was too happy. So like the record company didn't like it. And then when Eric dumped her, all of a sudden she got the edge they needed. This was right around the time when like Alanis Morissette was big, so that was kind of like the thing. So like so the girl became huge now because she was like a woman who was talking about how some guy screwed her over, men suck, or whatever. So she had an edge, and so she started making music, right? So the record company was like, yeah, we'll sign you to a record label, just make more music like that. So all the music she was making was directed at Eric, right?
Yeah.
And she became this huge pop star because of that. So all the songs she was making was like the songs about him, and it was really embarrassing for him. So like and so like she made a song called you're you're a loser freak. And Eric was at home, and like his little sister was just like she was listening to it on like her Discman or whatever, and she was like, you're a loser freak or whatever. And then she takes her headphones off and goes, oh my god, I can't believe you're my brother, gross. And then she walked away. I don't know why I just thought of that while
That's
you were,
funny.
you know what I mean?
It's the
But
loser. The loser.
oh yeah, because the loser jokes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
just
always
thought it was
liked
funny.
I liked
I
Ryder
was like,
Strong too.
hmm?
Was it Ryder Strong?
Who's that? Oh, that's
He
what?
was in it too.
Sean.
Was that his name? He was his friend.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
Sean.
guess that was his name.
Boy Meets World, great.
Yeah.
They did like a reboot. They did like a Boy Meets whatever they did, but I didn't like it.
Oh, Mr. Feeney's gonna be on GalaxyCon. You can do a question and answer.
Oh, I'm a big fan of Mr. Beanie. Mr. Matthews. Come
That's
here,
funny.
Mr. Matthews.
Did Ryder Strong? Did he date Kirsten Dunst, or is that somebody else?
See, that's the thing. That's the thing.
I'll have to look this up.
I mean, I'm not. I gotta pick up an episode of Cosmo to figure that out.
Well,
Or
there's a
Teen
reason.
Beat.
Hold on.
I gotta look into Teen Beat or Details magazine. I don't know if that's.
Or did I just make this up? It came in my head.
Google that.
It came in my head from somewhere.
Did Ryder Strong?
Am I making this up? I feel like I'm right, but I don't see anything about it.
Like on Twitter, on Google, when you type stuff, it finishes your search, because it thinks it knows you.
Yeah.
So like I typed in "did Ryder Strong" and then the first thing came up is "die."
Oh no.
Terrible.
I hope not.
What? Yeah. Did Ryder Strong date Kirsten Dunst?
I don't see it on here.
No.
Where did that come from? I don't know, but
It doesn't say.
My friend used to come to my house and pretend she was Kirsten Dunst and go on the internet and try to go in a chat room and get everyone to talk to her.
That's great.
And they would believe it too, which is the funny part.
Yeah, because they're all the kids.
Oh my god. But yeah. Okay, wasn't it? See, you get me like way off topic. They would come and talk.
This goes on there and says, "Hey, I'm Kirsten Dunst."
Maybe
Oh, really?
Maybe that's what started it, because then I know some other girl was like, "Yeah, I know how to talk to Ryder Strong," so maybe that's why I thought they were dating.
That's fine.
Because I remember that now. I knew Ryder Strong was involved in this somehow.
Ryder Strong's a cool dude.
But yeah,
I just didn't like how he was. I don't like how he was. Whatever. I don't want to get into my thoughts on Boy Meets World. But
I think he had his own little post. They all had their own little posters in the little teen magazines.
Yeah, I didn't like the fact that he was like the bad boy, dude. I didn't like that because all he did was wear like a leather jacket. All of a sudden, he was a bad. I don't like it. I don't like Ryder Strong. I don't like his character. I don't like him.
It's the leather jacket.
Yeah, the leather jacket does it for me, dude. There was a phase like in the 80s and 90s when that was the bad boy uniform. Just put one of those. I think it's because like, I don't know. Let me ask you this. I know this is your whatever. Let me ask you a question. Like I really just I was very vulnerable and I opened up about me liking Limp Bizkit earlier. Okay, honestly, for me, I think that was a big deal.
Why?
It might sounded like much to you, but you know what I mean. If people who knew me knew I listened to that, it would be a wrap for me.
I know people that listen to Limp Bizkit.
I wouldn't admit that if I was you, but okay.
Well, I saw my friend. Well, my friend really liked them.
Yeah, well, I do too. I was a huge fan of them. But what's your secret pleasure, your guilty pleasure, dude, that you listen to that you wouldn't tell anyone about? I have a few more too. Limp Bizkit isn't it? You know what I mean? Because I went through.
Well, can it be like, I don't know. I was thinking about this today. This is kind of a weird thing. Good, I guess it counts.
Better. Yeah.
It's not like a band, but it's like a thing. Like, I don't know. Whenever we had neighbors, this is why it started. Okay, so we have these new people that moved in across the street, and they have one of those giant trucks with the tires that are bigger than the truck, and they have these little kids, and I'm like, seriously, how many like step ladders is it going to take for the kids to get into the truck? But but it's like, about the gigantic trucks with, it's like, do you need tires that big? Why? I don't understand. But whatever. But I don't really like. I try to be nice, but I don't really like trucks like that. It's crazy. But anyway.
So the tires are really big. It's like a big truck with big tires.
Yeah, like why they need to be that tall?
No, dude.
You've seen these.
Oh, you mean like monster trucks?
It's like a regular truck with big tires. Like they think they're going rootin' or whatever they're doing. I don't know. And I only know what rootin' is because one of my substitute teachers used to do that in like middle school, and he would tell us all about it. I don't know. You go like riding through the mud in your truck. I don't know.
Like mudding?
I don't know. He used to tell us about it in like middle school, and it was like it was weird too. Our gym teacher had a baby, so it was an all girls class.
Congratulations.
So it was an all girls class, and for some reason they had him teaching us like family life and like whatever else. It was really messed up. And he would tell us about his date and how he took her rooting and all this stuff, and we're like, okay.
Wait, so he had a baby?
No, we had a lady, but she had a baby. So she was out because she had the baby, and so they couldn't find anyone else. So he ended up teaching her class, and but he would talk about his dates and how he took them rooting. Wow,
I don't know. This guy sounds like a weird guy.
But anyway, I don't really like trucks as a main point
because he had to I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, well, back to that. I don't really like trucks, so whatever, and all these weird stuff. But anyway, I like songs about trucks for some reason. I just think they're like hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, but they're not like country songs. I don't know. It's just like okay, like Perry Grip has some songs about trucks. I'm like, yes. And there's these little children's songs that I found about trucks, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're hilarious. And then Johnny Sacco has this whole album about trucks, and for some reason I have like a whole playlist that's nothing but truck songs. And so if I'm I listen to it sometimes just because it puts me in a good mood because I think it's funny. And some of like the children's songs are like even funnier.
What are they talking about?
It's just sing
Just
about like trucks.
the talking about trucks.
The kids ones are like, I like trucks, any kind of truck, whatever it is. And then it like names the trucks. It's like fire trucks, and then
Oh my god, that's great.
and then like I don't know, but
I'd
Johnny
like to hear
Sacco
that.
put out like a whole truck album
So
too, which
who's Johnny Sacco?
it was like a ska band, but they had
Oh,
this
it's a
whole
band
yeah, but
called The
then they
Guy.
had this whole album that was about like trucks, which is random. It was like supposed to be a movie or something, but
Yeah.
I don't know that really is.